Garrett, what do you think about the new episode we're doing?
Dude, I think it's so sick and rad. Sick.
What up? What's up, Garrett? How you doing? Oh, wait.
I'm good.
What the hell? I gave you that mask for a reason, so that you wouldn't talk as much this episode.
I mean, I could still talk with this on.
And there's no point in you having it on then, I guess.
Okay.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome to episode 2 of We're Podcasting here. Today, as you can see, we're at the skate park, and it's a nice day. We wanted to be outside, and I wanted to talk a little bit more, but apparently that can't even happen because I got the wrong mask. There's no point in you even having that on.
Well, everybody's already seen me in this form, so might as well just keep it going. Maybe explain why I have this on.
Why you have it on? If you guys tuned into last episode, the ratio, we timed it, the ratio of Garrett speaking to me speaking was about 4-2.
I feel like
Is that a good ratio?
I feel like the Eddie Murphy dude from Nelly and the St. Lunatics. Or wait, no, not Eddie Murphy.
Hannibal Lecter?
No, not Hannibal Lecter. Murphy Lee. I think Murphy Lee used to wear one of these. Anyways.
We were going for
This
Hannibal
is
Lecter.
so stupid, dude. Let's take this off. This is so dumb.
It was pretty funny.
The idea was there.
The other mask didn't come in time, and I had to go and buy this from a costume shop.
Can you hand me my hat, please?
You want your hat on? Your hair looks good.
My hat looks better. Okay, well that was that was dumb.
I think it'll be funny.
All right, well we'll find out.
So yeah, we're here at the skate park, episode 2. We're podcasting here. The first one was a hit, man. We got like the president of the world telling us that we did a phenomenal job. New York Times reviewed us, and the Rolling Stone were like, these guys have it, you know.
I was really surprised on the support,
Yeah, we did get support.
I wasn't surprised that we were going to get support because I know that whatever we do is obviously good. It's just like actually, when it actually happens, people sharing and commenting and showing love. And it's really cool to be on that side of things because people are supporting us directly and not something that we're doing for somebody else.
Right.
And
it always feels nice.
That's why we're doing the show.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're doing something a little different today. For the first time ever of any podcast ever, we have...
Talk about it.
We have a 360 camera filming on top of our current camera. We have a second playlist where you can watch us in 360. So if you have a VR headset...
Yeah, if your phone moves.
Your phone, yeah. Garrett's phone doesn't move. Yours should if you have the most up-to-date settings. You can turn your phone, and if you're watching that now, you can turn your phone and you can
see what's around us. There's a guy with a red shirt on. You could see him.
We want to immerse you into the environment with us, so that you can see, hey, we are in public locations, and if you get bored of looking at us, you can look around.
Speaking of looking at us, we have some new equipment.
We do have some new equipment
because of the amount of support that we got from the first episode, the amount of money that we made on the first episode.
It was wild.
We made so much money off of that first episode. One, we didn't even know, we don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
But then when we did figure out what to do with it, we went and bought some brand new mics.
Yeah. I want to shout out my homie Jenkins for helping us figure out, this MIDI.
Was this Connor's idea?
The mics, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was.
Well,
okay.
it was his suggestion.
Okay.
He was like, you should, these mics are great. You don't need to have the pop filter. They have a built-in pop
No,
filter.
they don't. They don't have anything. There's nothing that anybody needs to know about. All that people need to know is that they're the best top-of-the-line mics
Top of the line.
that we use.
The Weeknd used these mics.
Not these ones. He used the other one.
No, I think he used this one.
No, it wasn't, because my friend had sent me the other one and told me about that. And then you sent me this one.
But did the Weeknd use the other one?
Right.
The Weeknd used one of the mics.
Right.
I think he used these ones. We'll say he used these. The
so-
only downside.
To these?
Yeah. Is that my beard hair gets caught in the mic. and it pulls on it, so I gotta talk at a distance.
Yeah.
It's the one downside of it.
So let's jump straight into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
As we move along into the season, we'll excuse me. As we move into the season, we'll have topics, and we'll actually have a conversation of some substance and value, and it's not just going to be so much of us talking about random things or whatever. So, but there will be random things involved, but we also want people to walk away from the episode and have be smarter and almost as smart as us. So what so let's get into it. How are we related?
Well,
it's what started off as a joke.
Yeah.
Actually
turned out to be partially true.
Garrett
hits me up, was it Thursday night or Friday night? Thursday afternoon.
Probably.
With a message from an old family friend of his stating that you guys probably saw the video we did of success. That was hilarious. If not, should we have Momo fetch that clip for them?
Yeah.
All right, let's just have Momo fetch that clip. He's not feeling it. Yeah, he got neutered last week, so he still has one more week to go. So I'll just put it up.
What's the mentality that you have to have in order to be successful at becoming successful?
Success actually comes from the Greek word suck and the Latin word excess. A Greek man and a Latina were dating, and they came up with this word together as a metaphor for their relationship.
So it was just a testament of their love for each other.
A love for each other, but also their love for Mother Earth. Their understanding as ancient Grecian and Latinas were that the earth has an abundance of resources for us. Fruits, veggies, fishes, animals. The earth has an abundance, Garrett. And when you understand that, a lot of people don't have that mentality. A lot of people think, oh, there's not enough. There's not enough for me.
Which isn't true.
The earth is excessive, and it has all the resources for everyone.
That was hilarious.
That was funny. But the thing I like about that video is you're directly explaining, the origin of success, and you're talking about not only where does this word come from, but the mentality that you have to have in order to become successful at being successful. So we post this. Yeah, we post this video, and an old family friend saw it. It's kind of hard to explain to make it make sense, but basically. I grew up in the city of Orange and Irvine, but in Orange, where my dad lived, I had two friends. I knew their whole family, and years go by, right? Yeah. However many years. So from the time I know them when I'm like between 4 and 6, and fast forward, one of the friends that I grew up with, he ended up having a son.
Yeah.
And the woman that he had the son with just so happened to be your sister.
So I grew up in Tustin, and which we're at the skate park, which is relevant to what we're going to be talking about today, which is fate. I grew up in Tustin, and my family. So long story short, I was evicted when I was 15. Ended up moving in with my friend's family, and his sister, who became like my sister, was the mother of the child of Garrett's friend from childhood. So it was just a wild, it's like a Romeo and Juliet, like Capulet and Montague situation. Not directly, but indirectly.
Not directly.
Neither of us were Romeo or Juliet. But.
Right, but just the poetry in this story.
Yeah.
But the thing that's crazy, and it reminds me of the 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
How it's like, we're connected to, everybody is connected in one way or another type thing.
Right.
And the irony in us doing working together, doing a show where that is applied, but also like really close to home, is just really strange, because I didn't meet you that way.
Right.
We were introduced by our friend Elijah. Yeah. And I know Elijah from being in Irvine, and so it's just kind of like there's absolutely no reason that we should be connected that way. Right. But that's just kind of how it happened. So
Right. Like finding out that we were connected in two separate like settings, people,
Right.
groups, cities.
Right.
Because I knew Elijah since I was like for 20 years now, since I was in 5th grade. And then he knew you in Irvine. So you guys knew each other, but you knew each other separate from me. And then you knew and then you knew the father of this child.
Bleep it out.
Whom I you knew
Right. It just so happens to be your
my nephew.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
But and then everything that we've gone through over the years has kind of aimed us to the direction of where we're at now. Not just with our individual work, but also with doing this show, right?
Right. And as we've talked more too, we've realized like we do come from similar backgrounds.
Right.
Like we have similar shared experiences,
Right.
and the more we get to know each other, shared trauma,
Separately shared trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And the more we get to know each other outside of the show, the more we realize that this show was always going to happen.
Right.
This show was like inevitable, and if you're not watching it, you need to, because this show comes from the gods in the universe, or God,
That's
or
right.
whoever you subscribe to.
Right. No, for sure.
And
but I think that's also in part of why our show has been received so well too, because a lot of the feedback that I've gotten is, oh, these guys have a good rapport with each other.
Yeah.
But I think it's just because we understand, we kind of look at life through the same lens, right? So I had mentioned that growing up with these guys, skateboarding was obviously, growing up in the 90s, skateboarding was just, it was kind of like everything, and how popular it was. And so for me, one of the things I wanted to talk about in this episode was like, how did skateboarding culture and just everything impact us as kids to become creatives, or to, is there a direct correlation of like what we go through or what we're into as when we're kids? Right. How does that transpire into like our careers and like building our identities and stuff? And so for me, skateboarding, it was like the artwork on the skateboards. I was just infatuated with it. How did they create it? How did they come up with these ideas? What was the process of creating the artwork? And me wanting to do that on my own, and develop my own style as an illustrator, and all of that. But the origin, aside from music and things like that, it was really with skateboarding. And then when Tony Hawk came out, it just changed my whole life. Like that was, even to this day, it's my favorite game. Pro Skater, the first one, where you can't manual, and it's really frustrating when you go back and play it now. Because that game was so like revolutionary, and being at that age, then that game comes out, and then you're like a sponge, and you're absorbing everything that's being presented to you, right? So
and I had the not so much in the art, but skateboarding has been a part of my life for like since my earliest memory, since I was like 5 years old. I remember walking into a Kmart and seeing this freaking it was like a cheetah. It was a cheetah skateboard. I was like, I want that.
And how old were you? Like 14, 15?
Well, that was 20. I was 5. I was 5 years old. Fast forward a few years. I think I was in like 4th grade. Friends got me an X Games board for my birthday, and I was riding around a little bit more on my feet, but I wanted to know how to ollie. It's a funny story about that. I wanted to know how to ollie. But my brain was like, oh, the grip tape is kind of like preventing me from that. It's sticking. Like I need to be able to slide my foot. So I ripped off all the grip tape and had this board for like years, chipped up in nose and tail. It was really a weapon at that point. But when I got into 7th grade, I was able to actually like ollie and do tricks on it. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But utilizing what you have when you have it, using what tools you have and what resources you have in the moment to succeed and to excel. And then when you upgrade, then you get to use what you already know on that upgraded gear. So
that's crazy. So like you kind of looked at things through like, you know, with not having the grip tape, learning, you know, trying to figure it out on your own, to then having it, like, you kind of went about things step by step.
Yeah.
You know, process, maybe like unintentionally, right? Like you just,
Yeah.
you figured, well, I'll start here and then I'll do this and then I'll move on to the next thing and then so on and so forth.
Yeah, I didn't have like an end goal or any, like, it was just like, what do I have at my disposal, right? I had my mom's Fila's, not even skate shoes,
thick ones,
thick ass ones,
like the moon.
Before that shit was cool, I had
boots?
the thick ass Fila's,
Right.
which I was skating. I grew up poor, like, just prefacing that, so people know. I think people
Speak for
forget
yourself.
that I like grew up with very little.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, yeah, Garrett was rich, British.
British and Irish.
He comes from British royalty and Irish royalty. But yeah, so utilizing what you have, like when you have it.
Right.
And if you have, for you, it's like if you have a pen, like what are you gonna do with that pen? If you have a pencil, like what are you gonna do with that?
Right.
Like you can make this fantastic piece of art. You can freaking kickflip a 20 stair with the worst board. Like it's just how you go about it. Like is your mentality, is your mentality just like I'm gonna overcome and I'm gonna like excel, or is it like, man, I could be so much better if I had better stuff? Because that's not the case.
Yeah, it's
not necessarily.
That applies to a lot of things, but it you know, like that's a type of person. You know, it's like, are you a competitive person? What's the reason why you're doing the things that you're doing? You know, are you a follower? Or are you a leader? You know, like that type of stuff. You know, and growing up during that time, you know, the internet wasn't a influence. It was like, all we had was whatever was on TV or magazines or, you know, whatever. And so we kind of like created in our mind like what we thought things were. So it's like, if as opposed to like, we're not watching tutorials or we're not watching videos of like how to
university.
You know, so you know, we play a video game or we're going through a magazine and we're like, okay, well, this is what we think, you know, it takes to do, you know, this. And depending on how much ambition you have, that's really going to determine, you know, how fast or how well you're able to succeed in like whatever that thing is. And skateboarding is it's not easy, you know. So there's so many things that you have to take into accountability, and it's like, you know, I've always saw that, or thought that, you know, skateboarders were you know, more on the fearless side of things, because regardless of how difficult it is, it's not going to stop them from learning this thing, right? So
it's definitely, it's self-competition. That's what I learned from skateboarding later on. Like in the moment, you know, you can't get a trick after 40 tries. Like you get frustrated, and you know, you deal with like your anger in a lot of ways, just taking it out on the board.
Everything is self, you know, competition.
I think we're taught that it's, you know, you against the world, like. But it's not. It's you against you.
Right. Well, because the world's not paying attention to you. You know, like nobody cares. Nobody cares whether you fail or you don't, because they have their own problems, their own things to go on about. And it has to start with that self competition, and which then will turn into, eventually people will pay attention, and eventually you do become a person of interest. But it's like you have to get to that point first, and all of that. So
it's kind of a flow. Like there's a flow of life that like I was just drawn to skateboard. Like I didn't really like choose or think about it. I was just like, oh, like that looks cool. Like I don't know what that is. Like there's something just innate in us that like gravitates towards, you know, the thing that like interests us, or that like ultimately like we go on to do. Like for you, it was drawing, right? It was like you just kind of gravitated towards the paper. And
Not everybody has this. You know, like there's a lot of people that never had their thing. They just kind of go on about the days and all that. So it's like, are you born with it? You know, is it a character thing where, you know, as you're getting older, you're developing this character, and there's these like certain things that speak more true to that. Are you able to recognize that? Can you come across something that speaks to you and recognize that that's something you need to give undivided attention? Or do you just let things kind of flow by you and you just are, you know, coexisting with everything? You know, so it's really complicated to really think about and to try to explain and articulate where people could understand. But it's important, you know, because, you know, there's a lot of people that never found their thing. and then they bank on going to college to find it.
Yeah.
And there's this.
And some do find it.
Some
in college.
some do. But what about when you don't?
Right.
Like go to college for however
4
long
years,
to find your thing, and then you
Yeah.
don't, and then
There's no right answer, and that's what's hard to kind of to come to terms with is there's no right answer that we can give you at least.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, there's no right answer in terms of like the formula or the blueprint,
Yeah.
but there's things that cause that. When people can't find their calling or they can't dedicate themselves, or whatever the reason
Yeah.
is. And I think it's best for people to start there. Why are you not succeeding, or why are you living a lifestyle that you're not content with? Like what are the reasons why that's happening?
Yeah.
And I've found that one of the biggest downfalls that people have is distraction. They distract themselves away from the productivity of something that they would really be into or something, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you and a group of friends are skateboarding or something, and Saturday rolls around, everybody wants to go party and bullshit and all
Yeah.
that, but you're like at home like, damn, I really want to get better at skating.
Yeah.
Those are like the defining moments of
Yeah.
who's going to succeed in what.
Right.
Do you have distractions? And if you do you recognize that they are there and that they're throwing you off of your ultimate goal, you
Right.
know? And, yeah, it's like self-awareness and all of that. What's so funny?
Self-awareness and all that.
Self-awareness and all that.
Just get self-awareness, people.
And, yeah, just be self-aware.
Just freaking do
You
it.
know, like,
stop.
do
you
it.
know? What is stopping you? Just do it. It's probably money. And access to like therapy and shit.
For sure. So speaking on the 6 degrees of separation and my favorite game being Tony Hawk,
Yeah.
I did a single cover for a song for a recording artist who, I don't even know if I should mention his name or not. Doesn't matter.
You said last episode that you would name names.
So I did a single cover for Machine Gun Kelly.
Don't mention his name. We'll get sued.
And the single ended up being on the soundtrack to the new Tony Hawk game.
Yeah.
And to me, that was cooler than doing the cover art for
Yeah.
that. Just like being like involved
Yeah.
through that degree of separation.
Right.
Like, oh, like
Kinda
something
like-
I did is on Tony Hawk.
It's essentially like Tony Hawk.
That's basic. Yeah, for sure. With my work, that happens, a lot. Like this is one of the things I wanted to talk about too, is like, a lot of people turn down opportunities. A lot of people don't show up to something or, whatever. And you never know what is going to come from that.
Yeah.
And you never know what opportunities can come from it. You never know where it's going to end up.
Yeah. We'll get into all that. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This is episode 2. We're podcasting here.
Be
And,
sure to like and
like,
subscribe.
subscribe, share,
And
comment,
share.
interact
Hit
with
that
us.
little bell.
Ring that little bell. Go ahead and ring that bell for us. We really appreciate it if you did. Yeah. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon
Soon.
or next week.
Soon.
Keep an eye out.